CBS News congressional correspondent Nicole Killion is at Morehouse College. So, Nicole, the White House outlined the trip to Atlanta, and despite the threat of protest, the president will receive his honorary degree on Sunday. What more can you tell us about that?
Well, what I can tell you is that there is still unrest here on this campus. In fact, if you just look over my shoulder here, there is an impromptu protest that just started just a couple of minutes ago. These are students from both Morehouse College and Spelman College. And, you know, there has been a lot of concern around the president's visit with some students and faculty opposed to the administration's stance in terms of the president's handling of the Israel-Hamas war. And so that is an example of some of the demonstrations that potentially could greet the president when he comes here this Sunday. Now, we do know that the White House dispatched an advisor here to campus just last week to meet with students. They understand the students' concerns and this really is the first opportunity that the president will have to speak before students since we have seen these types of campus protests erupt around the country. So the stakes are pretty high for the president. That being said, the president of Morehouse College has made clear that if demonstrations erupt within the ceremony on Sunday, that he is prepared to halt those graduation ceremonies on the spot.
That was going to be my question, Nicole. Given the atmosphere that you're showing us, even just this morning, what might we expect to see in terms of a university response?
Well, again, the president has made clear that, you know, he's not opposed, and by the president, I mean the president of Morehouse has made clear that he is not opposed to students expressing their voice or their opposition. If, for instance, if it's a silent protest, if they potentially wear something that reflects their opposition. But what he is concerned about is, you know, police having to come in hauling students away. That is not something that is something that, in his words, he wants to be on television. So, you know, police start coming in with zip ties. The president of Morehouse College has said that he is prepared to halt these commencement ceremonies. But there has been a lot of consternation on this campus for weeks, as I mentioned, both from students and faculty who wanted to see the president's invitation rescinded. That being said, just yesterday, the faculty did agree to bestow an honorary degree on the president. And as of now, you know, the ceremony is intended to go on as planned.
And more broadly, Nicole, several of the president's recent events are focused on recapturing the black vote. How critical is that group to the president's reelection?
Well, it's essential. I mean, you know, African Americans helped deliver the White House to the president, and he made that clear back in November of 2020 when he was elected. And so, unfortunately, some of that support has slipped for the president, both here in Georgia and in other states. And so, you know, we are seeing a very aggressive push on the part of the Biden campaign to try to shore up that support. There are a number of polls out that show him in some instances trailing the former president double digits here in this state. You know, the president's support with black voters is still higher than that of former President Trump. But at the same time, the former president has seemed to make some inroads, at least according to some polls, with African American voters. So there is a real tension there. And so we will see the president here this weekend, not only speaking here at Morehouse College, but also he will be doing some campaign events here in the greater Atlanta area in terms of, you know, reaching out and engaging with African American voters. We will also see him travel to Michigan this weekend to do the same. So there is a very strong push on the part of the campaign.
All right, Nicole Killian reporting for us. Nicole, thank you.